TikTok, I figured I'll bring you back because I'm about to do the four-wheel drive swap today. So I'm going to put the 4-inch blocks in the back with one extra leaf spring because I want it to sit a certain height so the 35s fit. It's going to be factory ride height, maybe an inch higher, not even. I just don't know exactly how to get factory ride height because the spring codes and everything else. So I got front springs and I got the rear blocks out of the same exact truck. So right now we're dropping out the whole front end on these trucks. If you want to change them over to four-wheel drive, you got to drop out this, all this here, the whole steering bar, both the I-beams in the front, take off the brackets there, take off the brackets here, everything, sway bar links, shocks, everything has to be changed. And then you can see up in here, there's a couple bolt holes here. This is where the new bracket goes on for the trailing arm that goes across. And we got new pitman arm coming, we have everything. So here's the front end. We're getting ready to clean it up and paint that. Right over there's the trailing arms, the new trailing arms that we're gonna put on. I'm getting ready to clean those up and paint those. And then we got the transfer case over here. But there's the transfer case for it. Right here's the drive shaft. We got new U-joints. I gotta call and get a tranny mount. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. Here's the brakes, rotors, calipers, caliper brackets, everything for the front. So right now we're gonna drop out. Lee got all the shocks out yesterday because we gotta change the shocks too because they don't reach after you put the 4-inch in. All the U-bolts coming out. Then these blocks here, what's going in. To lift it up the four-wheel drive, put the transfer case in. Drive shafts are waiting on a rear drive shaft too. I might just cut this one down. Honestly, I probably will just cut this one down to match because you see on the Fords, the transmissions are all four-wheel drive transmissions. You just take the mount off here. Oh, no. That mount will bolt onto the transfer case. So I shouldn't need anything actually, just a couple extra bolts for here because I don't have all the transfer case bolts, but I'll use these ones that I do have and find a couple that match. And then I'll take the this off here, and then the new transfer case will slide right on there, and then I'll cut this down probably about, I don't know exactly, but I'll cut a nice chunk out of it and then bring this back to where it goes and weld it back together, and it'll be all good in the neighborhood. Get rid of this, put a nice new one, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll bring you back when I get there. So we just did the whole fuel system, so I'm also waiting for the fuel cooler right here. And I got to drop the tank out and drain the whole tank. So hopefully I'm trying to have this whole truck completely done and ready to go by next Wednesday. So I got to take it out to Buffalo to get it tuned and all that good stuff and get the injectors programmed. So keep an eye on it. We'll do it. We'll have it sitting on 35s today, I'm assuming. There we go, out with there's the old two-wheel drive front end. We're going to drag that out of the way with the old skid steer, and then we'll put the four-wheel drive. We're going to clean the four-wheel drive front end up real quick and paint it, and do the same thing with the arms and paint them. Then we're going to put the four-wheel drive front end back in. Then we're going to put the blocks and the spring in the back. Then we're going to do the transfer case and the drive shaft. So keep watching, and we'll keep on working, boy. Get rid of this old junk. This ain't worth a damn, this old junk here. It ain't worth nothing. It's just a trailer axle. Air needle in the front end real quick. You can see I'm waiting for the compressor to build back up, but the air needle takes all the scale off it. Gets it pretty clean. We're going to knock all the scale off it and paint it with rust inhibitor, and then we're going to paint it with black Rust-Oleum just so it looks decent. You know what I'm saying? The rim's only got 50K on it, but it's the New York one, so it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But putting it under there. We got the blocks and the U-bolts in the back. We're just waiting on the shocks right now. I'm about to set the back tires on there so we can see what it looks like with them. But that's kind of where it, obviously the weight's not on it right now, but we'll stick the tires on the back and see what it looks like, how far they stick out, what kind of clearance we got. And then we're just waiting on a couple parts through the front, and then we'll get the front end in right here directly. That's what it looks like with tires on that mug. Not too bad. They stick out a little bit. I don't want them sticking out crazy far, but we'll see. We'll find some lug nuts that fit it and bolt them on, and then we'll get the front end in. See what it looks like. Definitely look a hell of a lot better than a two-wheel drive truck.
I forgot all about it, but
there we go. That's what it looks like from the back. I'm waiting for shocks to get here. We're about to put the front end in right now, and then you're gonna sit 10 times better than you did before. But yeah, there we go. Let's get the front end done now. So we got the front end ready. The only thing I noticed that might be different is the front end still needs a little more paint, but we rust inhibited the whole thing and painted the whole thing. But once we get up in there, we'll touch the spots up that we missed. And the only thing I noticed is on the four-wheel drive has a different spring bucket up here. So the bucket that the spring sits in is a little bit different. So I may have to cut this flat and build something different here, but I'm gonna find out after I get the springs over here and set them up in there and see how they look. I'll figure that out. That's no problem. I did one before on was a 2013 that I had to like put a flat plate here and put a round thing there so the spring was set up on it, but we'll see when we get it over in here. We're gonna do that right now. So far now we got brand new wheel bearings for it and brakes, rotors, calipers, everything's all new, so we got all that stuff here. That's where we're at right now. The only thing I noticed that's different is the top of the bucket here on the 2-wheel drive is a little bit different than the 4-wheel drive one. So I either got to put a new plate in here and make it flat with a round, you know, like a part of a dry shaft that'll set right inside the top of the spring correctly, because the spring won't sit correctly on there right now. And the 2-wheel drive springs are way too short, so I'm about to figure that out right now. Bring it right back here. We'll paint it up a little more now that we got it in too, because we rust inhibited it and did it on the ground, but we couldn't get everywhere around it. That's what we got for the spring mount. So it's just setting flush on the other one. So this one, this can go set right on it and sit right on top of the spring, and it'll sit flush like that. See what I'm saying? So that'll be good. It ain't gonna go nowhere. And it'll look right. It should sit right, and it should be just the right amount of distance from the wall. I measured the other one, so it should be the same. But we'll see. And then if it's too high in the front, we'll just have to make the back lift it up a little bit to match it, or we could always get a different spring. We're at now, we got the sway bar in, waiting for brake hoses. I'm gonna adjust the steering bar so it fits up here into the pitman arm. So that should be good. I'm building a bracket for the track bar right now, because all I got was one off of an older one, but it still fits the truck. All you gotta do is cut the original bolt holes over here. You cut it off, put a new one here. That's all you gotta do to make it work. That's out of a 04 or something like that. But that's what it looks like so far. Lee's putting wheel bearings in now. Then we're gonna put brand new brakes, rotors, calipers, caliper brackets, and we're gonna pick up the shocks while we're gone. We still gotta do the transfer case and the front dry shaft, but we'll get there. Here's what we got in the end product. We still got a little bit of work to do, but we're out of parts, so we're waiting for parts. We got to put the little couple things on the engine. We're waiting for gaskets. We're waiting for lockouts. We're waiting for the bracket for the track bar. But besides that, that's what it looks like as a 4-wheel drive. A hell of a lot better. And it'll go like a mother now. 2-wheel drive trucks don't do jack. I mean, they do pull good on the pavement, but I need to go off the pavement a lot.